Welcome into a bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. We dive into Brendan Gallagher. Does it make sense for him to come back with so little time left in the regular season? And you look back on his history, guys, of how many games he's played. The last time he played a full 82-game schedule was in 18-19. Since then, 59 games, 35 games, 56 games, and now 26 games as of Tuesday night. And in fact, when he's played a full 82-game schedule, 3 times he scored 24 goals or more in the regular season. So your thoughts, is it the right move to have him back now with nothing to play for at this point in the season?
Well, I think we all know the type of team and character guy Gallagher is. That goes without saying. I mean, he wants to play each and every game, and his style of play, the way he goes at it each shift is starting to show some wear and tear and, causing a lot of these injuries just by the level of competition that he throws at the opposition out there. And I don't know. I have a real concern moving forward with his health and the type of game that he's playing, that he's going to be able to, chip in the way he did before, for the length of the contract that he has. And it's really tough as a player when you sense that. I don't know if he does, other than he feels like, oh, no, here we go again. I got something else wrong with me. I'm going to have to work through this. But, a classy guy and a really good, solid guy. But I'm really concerned about how his body's going to hold up with the type of game that he plays to stay healthy for the duration of the contract.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in him coming back in the last stretch here, not necessarily for the team, but for Brendan Gallagher. I think if he can get going a little bit, score a couple of goals, have some belief that he can get back close to the player that he was before this run of injuries that's lasted, I guess, 3 seasons has hit him so hard. I think that does a lot for him going into next season, as opposed to the unknown. If he'd been sitting on the sidelines, like, yes, maybe he's a little bit healthier going into the offseason, but there's that nagging thought in the back of your head that maybe I've lost it, right? And I know that for an athlete, the mental game is probably as important as the physical game. You have to believe that you're one of the best to play, right? There's only about 700 spots in the National Hockey League. You have to be one of the most hyper elite players at this sport to be in this league, and then to play higher up in the lineup is even more elite, right? So it's a tough thing to maintain that physically and mentally. Gallagher, man, last year, if you would have asked me what his contract was going to look like, I would have been more confident than after seeing this year. I think he's had such a long history of success, of play driving, of goal scoring, especially at even strength, that a 1 year off, I see that as a blip. But this is a second straight year where the injuries just compound and compound. I'd be very worried with 4 more years on that contract. So I hope he was serious about limiting himself and finding ways to keep himself out of the lineup when he's actually hurt, because if he continues to play through stuff, I don't know if he's going to make it to the end of that contract.
I love Brendan Gallagher. How do you not? I mean, the guy is 100% effort every time he's on the ice, every shift, every practice. It's the same thing. But 4 more years and $6.5 million. He's 30. I hate to say it, but at this point, it looks like he'll probably end up in a situation like Price and Weber, where LTIR is in his future. I hope that's not the case. But for him coming back, it was really important for him to get back in the lineup. And I think it was really important for Marty St. Louis to get Brendan Gallagher back on the lineup, just to have him going into the summer, feeling a little bit more positive, feeling that he still can play in the NHL, that he still can produce. But expectations for him, at least for the first 4 or 5 games he's back, should be low. I mean, he was telling me after the game against Tampa, he was in that walking boot. It was either a high ankle sprain or a broken bone in his foot, whatever it was. You don't know for sure. He said after the season he'll give us more details. So he couldn't skate. He couldn't ride the bike. He couldn't do anything. He told me the game in Tampa, he had only been on skates 5 times, including 1 team practice and 1 morning skate before playing that game. So his conditioning isn't there. His stamina is not there. The desire and determination will always be there. But I think for fans watching him these first 2, 3, 4, 5 games, don't expect a lot and don't be too critical about him, because the guy hasn't been able to work out. He's a workout freak. He hasn't been able to ride a bike. He hasn't been able to skate. So it's going to take him a while to get his legs back, get his wind back, feel comfortable touching the puck again. And those are reasons I just think it's really important to get him back in the lineup. He'll be good in the room, good veteran, good leader. And it's just, this is almost like a mini training camp for him, just to get back, get his legs going. As I said, feeling more comfortable with the puck and feeling part of the team again. I mean, you know this, Rick, when you're injured and you're sitting up in the press box watching games, you're not on the road trips, you're not going up for dinner with guys on the road. You don't feel like you're part of the team, even though you are. So really important for Brendan Gallagher to come back. Hopefully he can stay healthy through the end of the season, maybe get a couple of goals, and then he'll have another full summer to get ready. But the injuries keep piling up, and the way he played, Marty St. Louis has had him adjust his game a bit, though. Same with Josh Anderson, and not just be that go to the net as hard as you can every time, sort of try and do different things. So full off season again for him to get ready, and hopefully he can stay healthy the rest of this season and moving forward. I'd love to see Brendan Gallagher be healthy. I don't know if he can be a 30-goal scorer again. Maybe he can be a 20-goal scorer again. But I wrote this in a column this week. People talk about his contract. Brendan Gallagher has earned every single dollar the Canadiens have ever paid him, because the effort is always there, every game, every practice.
So I think I was just going to say, I think people should realize or understand that it's not always the injury that, hurts the most. The most difficult part is the comeback and be able to jump into the lineup and contribute like you were contributing before you got hurt. And that's a big challenge when you've been off for an extended period. I had my sessions of it, very, very challenging to say, okay, I'm so-called good to go. But man, oh man, it's tough when you're out of the loop and out of the stream of things and how the game is played to get yourself back the way you were. So there is time involved there. And Brendan Gallagher, we all know that he's going to do everything he can each and every shift, but there's going to be time there, and hopefully he's going to stay healthy.
Coming back from an injury in November or December is easier than coming back from an injury in March too, when the hockey's at its highest level and playoff races and teams are going all out. The hockey keeps getting quicker as the season goes on, so coming back so late in the season after missing 32 games is not easy.
The popular term in NBA is load management. Should the Canadiens approach that with Gallagher going towards next season on a load management schedule?
It's not a bad idea. I mean, I hate load management in the NBA because you get people who pay a lot of money to go watch NBA games, and then their stars aren't playing. They're not hurt. They're just resting. And I don't think that's right in pro sports. But I think with Brendan Gallagher, they just need, like, when he's and he said this, he's got to be more honest with himself. And I think maybe this season it's gotten through to him that he can't just be the young Brendan Gallagher. Well, I'm going to play through anything. It doesn't matter. I mean, before he had the string of injuries, he was on pace for his third straight 30-goal season. Until then, he was the leading Iron Man on the Canadiens. His consecutive game streak was longer than anybody else. A lot of people forget that. Despite all the games that, all the style of play he plays, I'm not going to say he didn't get hurt, but he didn't get hurt bad enough to stay out of the lineup. But I think now he's 30 years old. He's got to realize, I'm not the 24-year-old, 25-year-old Brendan Gallagher. I got to listen to my body a little bit more. And if that means missing a practice or a morning skate or whatever, as far as like load management that way, I agree with it. Like, the Canadiens do that. Guys will miss a morning skate. Guys will miss a practice. They'll have a therapy day. And I think they'll need to do that with Brendan moving forward. He's going to have to be more honest with himself. And the training staff's going to have to stay on him harder. Like, are you sure, Brendan? Do you think you should don't practice today? Go ride the bike or do something else.
Yeah, the poor guy's missed 104 games over the last 4 seasons. That's a lot of games.
Yeah. For a guy who loves, as Marty St. Louis said, there's guys who play hockey and there's hockey players, and Brendan Gallagher's a hockey player. He loves to play hockey. I mean, it must be killing him not to be in the lineup.
Yeah. It would be a real step backwards for him to try and accept that, listen, you're going to have to take a little bit of time. He only knows one way, and that's full speed and both feet in it, and it would be a huge adjustment for this type of character to try and monitor and slow him down. And it's going to be interesting though, because obviously they're going to have to do something because it's been tough on him as of late.
Yeah, and fans see him in games. They don't see him in practices. I see practice morning. He goes just as hard in practice and morning skates as he does in a game. So that's a place where maybe they can tell him, okay, Brendan, tone it down just a bit in practice. But it's the only way he knows how to do it. It's why he made the NHL at the size he is, because he goes all out every time he's on the ice.
Well, to piggyback off of Andrew's point, Last 4 years, 47 goals. That's not Brendan Gallagher-like effort that we all have grown accustomed to seeing playing for the Montreal Canadiens in the prime of his career. Don't forget to submit your questions and comments here on Hockey Inside Out. We look forward to conversing about that in a future episode. And check out all of the episodes on YouTube. Hockey Inside Out. And sign up for the newsletter at MontrealGazette.com/newsletters. And finally, for full episodes and bonus content, head on by Hockey Inside Out as well. On behalf of Rick, Stu, and Andrew, we wish you a great week. We'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.